Hey gurus! Let's have an in-depth conversation about anxiety, shall we? Anxiety is rampant through our society these days, and the numbers are only growing, especially after the pandemic, the global one. But there is a lot of misconception and lack of deeper understanding of what anxiety really is and where it comes from. And I want to clear some shit up for y'all to help you get better informed so that you can make more empowering choices for yourselves. So today, and for the next few weeks, we are going to do a deep dive into some of the reasons that we might have anxiety. Because there's a reason we have it. Anxiety itself isn't the reason. It is a symptom of a reason. Some of the reasons might surprise you. Now, I am so passionate about this topic that I went like hardcore on this video to the point that I turned it into 6 sections divided across 3 videos. So stay tuned for part 1. Cue music.
Potty, she talking naughty. Here to help your trouble, she don't judge nobody. Even if you're not at your top and it's a lie, she try to make you see a different train of thought.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am the Potty Mouth Guru. I am a trauma-informed inner child therapist, and my mission is to help you learn how to unpack yourself one video at a time. Anxiety, yes, the plight of many people's existence, myself included. To preface this video, I will share with you that I have battled on and off with anxiety my entire motherfucking life, and I've done a lot of therapy around it, and research about it, and learned about it in school. So it is a familiar topic and condition to me. So let me tell you some stuff. As I was saying earlier, anxiety isn't the issue. Now don't get me wrong, anxiety is fucked up, and it is an issue, and a debilitating one sometimes at that. But it's not ground zero. Anxiety doesn't just come out of nowhere, and it isn't just the way it is. And listen, anxiety and panic attacks can seemingly come out of fucking nowhere for no reason. It might be really difficult in the moment or even afterwards to identify the exact trigger of what brought it on. And there might not be a definitive trigger. So I understand how it feels like it's coming out of nowhere, because that shit just hijacks your motherfucking body. Like, I've been on the subway when I lived in Toronto, listening to music or reading a book or whatever, and then plow! I'm just like in a fucking raging panic attack for like no reason, and then trying to figure out what even brought me into that state. Anxiety is a symptom of a bigger issue that's looming inside of our bodies and minds. It is an alert system that points us to the problem, that there is something wrong and out of balance in our lives, in our bodies. Something or things that we need to look at, address, unpack, heal, understand, change, etc. This is the universal law of cause and effect. Anxiety is an effect. Like, diabetes doesn't just fucking happen out of nowhere. Things are happening in the body and for a reason, and the body is responding. Same goes for our nervous system and our brains. So let's talk about some of these reasons and potential causes for anxiety that are well studied and documented, peer-reviewed, some for decades, to help all of this make a little bit more sense to you and hopefully empower you even further. Part 1 of my 3-part series, The Truth About Anxiety, will cover physiological causes, gut health, and environmental toxins. Here we go. Number 1, physiological. So, how are your blood sugar levels? How have you been sleeping? What's your diet like? Do you have food intolerances that you still eat, or maybe you're unaware of food tolerances that you might have? Do you have nutritional deficiencies? A, low blood sugar levels. That shit can mimic anxiety symptoms or worsen existing anxiety symptoms, like shakiness, increased heart rate, irritability, nausea, difficulty focusing, panic, etc. When low blood sugar occurs, the body wants to level that shit out and bring up the glucose levels by producing epinephrine, which is adrenaline. Adrenaline production in the body triggers the fight or flight response in our bodies. It is the same biological process that is happening. So if we have chronic states of low blood sugar levels, eventually it can cause our body to produce cortisol, the stress hormone. And although it can actually help normalize our insulin levels, the cortisol production also increases anxiety. Now, there is a lot more on this topic by people who know way the fuck more than I do. I highly recommend reading about it so that you can figure out what causes low blood sugar levels and how to level that shit out. B, now with sleep. Now, this is a tricky, fucked up cycle. Fucked up sleep patterns and lack of sleep causes anxiety, and anxiety causes fucked up sleep. Right? Studies show that adults need at least 7 hours of sleep per night to maintain optimal health. Less than that, especially on a consistent basis, can lead to adverse health issues like anxiety and depression, among other things. When we're not sleeping, our body releases more of that cortisol, that stress hormone. And this can cause all sorts of fucked up symptoms like headaches, digestive issues, shit energy levels, and anxiety. A study from 2013 found that sleep deprivation amplified reactions in the amygdala and anterior insula, the parts of our brains associated to anxiety. Now, here is one thing that might blow your motherfucking mind from not knowing it. C. Food allergies and intolerances. Man, when I learned this one, keep in mind as we talk about this that the gut is heavily intertwined with the brain and our mental health. I'll be getting to that in a bit. When the body struggles to digest certain foods, eventually those food particles can enter our bloodstream. When that happens, our immune system might identify these food protein particles as foreign and begin to attack because it thinks it's a threat. This immune response can create inflammation and produce chemicals that might inflame the gut, respiratory system, and brain. This can result in brain fog, anxiety, difficulty focusing, even panic attacks, and etc. So, is your mind blown or what? So if you're like allergic to the cheese or the ice cream and you have anxiety, maybe it's time to think about maybe not eating it anymore. Just a little seed plant. D. Nutritional deficiencies. Magnesium, iron, B12, D levels, potassium, calcium deficiencies can all contribute to anxiety and panic attacks. These body issues all have a lot of the same symptoms as anxiety, can cause it and can exacerbate what's already there. It can cause a fight or flight response in our bodies because our body is like, what the fuck is going on? Something is wrong. I am missing something. Pay attention. The body is yelling. I can't function optimally here or properly. Help! Alert system. Hoi, our meaning makers. Our brains love that shit. So we might think that we're feeling anxious because of that weird email that we got from our boss, and that might be part of it, but it might not be the whole story. Maybe it's also our body saying, hey buddy, something's wrong. I have linked articles below in the description box about all of this stuff. Number 2, gut health. Our brains are attached to our gut and our gut is attached to our brains. That connection is no joke. It can directly link anxiety issues to digestive health and digestive issues. Having stomach issues can cause anxiety. So for example, when you feel emotional, do you get nauseous sometimes or have butterflies in your stomach or cramps in your stomach? That's because the gastrointestinal tract is sensitive to emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, elation, etc. It's called the brain-gut axis. Our brains have a direct impact on our tummies. Like, did you know the very thought of eating can release stomach juices even though there is no fucking food in there yet? Just because we thought it. Issues with our gut or brain gets communicated in both directions. So a person's tummy distress can be the cause or the product of stress, anxiety, or depression. It works like this. So our GI tract releases neurotransmitters and hormones like serotonin and dopamine, which have a direct effect on our brain function and our moods. Any issue or lack of production of these chemicals has a huge impact and is even largely responsible for mental health conditions like anxiety and depression. It's all connected. If our microbiome is disrupted or the levels are unbalanced, it can lead to less productions of happy hormones, thus resulting in stress, anxiety, and depression. Gut permeability, leaky gut, what I was talking about earlier, the food particles getting out, affects an individual's immune system, which has been shown to lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions. So changes that might happen in our digestive system can absolutely trigger anxiety symptoms. Starting to understand that connection a little bit more? Good! Number 3, environmental toxins. Dun, dun, dun. Neurotoxins. Chemicals and toxins found in our food and our personal care products, in insecticides and herbicides, household cleaners, have been found found to alter our brains in ways that help set in motion mental illnesses like anxiety and depression. Synthetic food dyes that are found in cereals, candy, gum, and in pop can trigger panic attacks. Research has shown that people, especially kids and teens, that consume a lot of foods that contain red 40, yellow 5, and blue lake struggle with concentration, show symptoms of ADHD, have uncontrollable mood swings, struggle with aggressiveness, hostility, phobias, and anxiety. Research also shows that exposure to pesticides that's found in our food and in the soil that our food is grown in, along with heavy metals found in cigarette smoke, dental stuff, welding equipment, old piping, etc., can alter the brain and lead to neurological issues and mental illness. Prescription drugs, including the ones used to treat anxiety, can cause and/or exacerbate symptoms of anxiety. Petrochemicals used to make plastics like pop bottles, paints, and adhesives. Lead, that's still shockingly found in fucking kids' toys, house paints, etc. Fluoride, which is a two-edged sword, because in tiny little microdoses, it has some benefits to our teeth, but our exposure to it is way more than tiny. And it's been found to have negative impacts on our brain growth and development. Mercury, found in fish, it's bad. So too much sushi, bad. I know, it's devastating, but aluminum that's found in deodorants and antiperspirants can lead to anxiety disorders, among other shit like cancer. Phthalates and parabens found in skin, hair, shaving products, sunscreens, even some toothpastes, have also been linked to neurological issues, among a million other things. Like, there's more, but you guys definitely get the idea. And this is like really well-researched, peer-reviewed shit. Some of it decades and decades old. Which begs to question, fucking why? Why in the internal fuck are we still using these chemicals? But that's for another video on a different type of a channel. So, there you have it, some physiological, physical, and environmental reasons that might be contributing to your anxiety. I have included like all the links, so many links, in the description box about all of the information that we talked about here today. Thank you so much for tuning in to part 1 of my 3-part series about the truth about anxiety and giving enough fucks about yourself that you would seek out information to help you learn how to unfuck yourself. Stay tuned for next week when we discuss genetics and chemical imbalances. If you like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for sure, and share this with somebody you think might value the content that's in it. See you on the flip side, motherfuckers. Peace. Yo.